Okay, this is a real basic tutorial on Cubase Elements. I have Cubase Elements 10.5 LE version. It's not a professional version. It's the $125 version or so. But anyway, I'm just going to give a quick basic rundown of how to get started on Cubase Elements. If you're an advanced user or you want some advanced features, please close this out and move on. Find something next. I've only been using this for about 3 months. Works good for me. I'm going to help somebody else out to get them started. So, with that said, well, let's start with a new file project. As soon as I can figure out why, I gotta click that out. Okay, so let's just start a new project. I'll just pick a rock production, activate. Let's skip this for right now, or let's go into this. Let's go microphone in one, microphone in two, and click map always. Probably a good habit to do that first. Okay, so first things first. Let's start with the rock basic structure of a rock song. First thing you want to do is come up here to studio and you want to click your audio connections. You want to make sure you got everything selected. Now let's start with the inputs, which I have open. Right here you might have a Focusrite, you might have a Behringer, you might have something else. There's a whole bunch of different USB audio interfaces. So you want to make sure your device ports are selected in one, in two. Um, One and two, you can reconfigure these later, but that's your inputs. Make sure they're selected and active. I'll show you how to activate them in a minute. Make sure your outputs are selected and activated. If you haven't done so, it's a good idea to download ASO for All. It's a free download. Um, in this case, I'm just using my Behringer Euphoria UMC 4040 HD. It has 4 inputs and 4 outputs. I'm just using mostly 1 and 2 for the in and monitor 1 and 2 on the output to a couple of Yamaha HSM studio monitors. I also use headphones. Anyway, so with that said, your audio connections from your studio setup are good there. Your next studio setup, click on studio, go to studio setup, make sure you have your audio driver selected. That's real important that you have your Focusrite or whichever USB driver um, selected. Okay? The rest of it you can leave on default. Mostly a factory setting or a default is good. You can check your drivers, make sure these are either active or inactive. Right now I'm just using 1 and 2 for active, and my monitor system output 1 and 2. Okay, so you don't need to worry about any of this stuff. Links. There are ways to calibrate your ASO drivers. That's a little more advanced. We'll get to that later so that you have less latency. But I would just leave these factory settings. Okay, so that's your first beginner setup. To make sure everything's gonna talk to each other and you're gonna hear sound and you're gonna be able to record. Now with the rock production, they give you a number of tracks already preset. You can easily add new tracks. They give you drum beats. I don't know what they give you. It's just I would leave that alone. Okay, but coming up here, if you get these smaller sub files, you can come up to the upper right, close those out. So I always start with a new drum track because I start with drums in the first place. And over here, you have a choice. When you add a new track, you have audio. Audio tracks are always going to be like your guitar, your bass, your drums, if you're recording live drums, or microphones. Your instruments are always going to be your VST on board, loaded in soft synths such as VST synths, etc., etc. MIDI that speaks for itself. You've got effects you can add, and chords and arrangements. These are cool. These are more advanced. We'll get to that later. I always start with drum track, in which case it will be an instrument because I'm going to use on board either MIDI or sampled drums. In this case, it doesn't have to be an instrument. If it was live drums or you're putting percussion instruments in there, be a microphone, you'd click audio. In this case, I'm going to start with a new drum track so I can show how the drums work on Cubase instrument. Okay, so we'll pick Groove Agent. You have two different onboard drum type tracks, the Halion Sonic SE or the Groove Agent SE. We'll just start with Groove Agent and pick stereo out so you can pan your drum track. Click on Add Track, and we get a new pop-up here. Okay, so here's your Groove Agent. Groove Agent's pretty cool. They give you a ton of different drum kits. Over here, you select your kit and pick, you go through and audition each one of these, whatever you like. So there's some funky drum kits, there's some dance kits, there's some dubstep, just different kinds of drums, hip hop. Okay. Let's see, what do I like? I like just the rock. I like the Aberdeen, so I'll pick that. There's Aberdeen drum kit is loaded. Okay, so we close that out. That's the drum kit. Okay, so now if you want, you can pick a pattern. They give you a whole bunch of different patterns you can pick from. Let's see here. So you come back, click on this, load MIDI pattern. And these are MIDI drums. These are sampled drums. And you can pick from different drum patterns. These are patterns. These are grooves, right? So you can just scroll through here. Let me just pick something random. Not techno. I'll pick the vault. I don't know. Okay, so we've got our drum kit, Aberdeen. We've got a drum pattern, the vault groove. Now down here, you have some different grooves you can choose from. Actually, this one didn't come up with too many. Let me pick a different one. I apologize. Let me find something here. Uptown's Finest. Again, I'm not coming up with a whole lot. Let's keep going. Okay, I've tried this Vegas scene. This is good. Okay, so we got Vegas scene drum MIDI pattern. You can change the tempo over here, right? These are MIDI drums. So let's just say you want to audition this. You're building your drum track. So let's just say we'll pick a verse. So you click on your verse and then come up here and play it. There's your drum verse. There's a chorus. Click on chorus, audition the chorus. They don't give you any count-ins, which would be really nice. Well, there's an intro. Okay. So let's just say there's your intro. Okay, so at this point, we want to use that. So we've got our new drum track we created. We've got the drum sounds we like, and we got a drum beat we like, and we got the intro, which is loaded up here. Okay, so over here, here's a little trick. It's hard to see. What you want to do is click and drag. I'm going to move this down. Click and drag it to second bar, because you might in here put in a count in or something, some kind of, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't always start at 1 because I want to count in. So I just put an intro into the second bar. So let's just go to first verse. All right. Let's just say we like that. Okay. Same deal. Just take this, drag it over here, drop it in. There's your second verse. Okay. So that's it. Anytime you can select these and you can change the drum set to a different drum set. Okay. Okay, another nice feature again about the Groove Agent is if you've purchased MIDI drum grooves from an outside source, third-party source, and you've stored them on your hard drive someplace and you like them a lot, what you can do, I'm not sure if this is typical for all versions of Cubase. I just have Cubase Elements LE, but you can click on your file browser in your Groove Agent Drum SE, click on Browse, come up here and click on your browser to find external files. I purchased Groove Monkey, and I can use, I've got a whole lot of different songs in here, which there's probably 500 different songs. So in which case you don't have the benefit to Audition. Yeah, maybe you do. I didn't think you did, but I think you can audition some of these. I don't think it works the same way with the Groove Agent with the external files. So let's just say you've already picked out some of your own grooves that you've downloaded, whatever, ballad songs. You can play them just like before. You can drag them into your production. So I just put an external Groove Monkey drum beat into my production. Okay, so that kind of covers the basics of drum building drum beats. Okay, so moving on, let's just say you want to add, you probably want to do your bass or your guitar, but those are pretty straightforward. You just plug your guitar in and go to town. Vocals afford quite a few of different options. So let's just say, let's add a vocal and click on your vocals, click on your monitor, because you're gonna want a different, like, reverb or plate reverb or echo or something like that. So the only way you're gonna hear your echo or be able to change your vocal to, audition your vocal sound is by monitoring it. If you don't click on monitor, you just click record, you get what you get. So click on monitor, come up here, click on your VST dynamics, which are basically going to be, and then come up here and you've got a whole bunch of different effects. Let's see here. Although these are not the effects I wanted. Let's see here. Backing vocals. Okay, so you got your backing vocals. There's a lot more that are coming up here. These are the VST dynamics. I think you can change, come back and change a different, add a different, okay, here you go. So click on a different insert, click on a reverb, click on RoomWorks. Then you come up here, click on that, and you've got rooms, different rooms. hard rooms, soft rooms. So let's try it. Let's try a different room. Okay. So here's, you can just modify your reverb. Some of these are pretty good. Some of these are, that's a real fast, tight reverb time. There's a long reverb, a long haul reverb. And you can mess with it. A lot of different modifications in here. You can change how wet and how much, amount, a lot, mix, etc., etc. Or it could just come back here and go, here's a, how about a high frequency room? High frequency verb. You can change the delay time, etc., etc. And that sounds pretty good. Okay. So, and I've got stereo coming out on left and right channel. That's because I set it up correctly in the first place. So that's the vocals. Probably turn off the monitor when you go to record. So, with that said, we'll go to recording. Let's try recording a track. Basically, come on down here, and before you record anything, you want to arm it, which we did. We have it armed. Click on that, and then click on record, and we got our drums, and we could start recording some vocals. Here come up the vocals. I'm singing along with the drum beat. Or if you go, I don't want to hear that, I just want to hear my vocals, then you can do what you have to do. You can monitor that, turn it off, or just sing along. Okay, so that's that. When you're done, push stop. You can click back. A lot of this is obvious stuff, right? Okay. Okay, now getting from your tracks, getting over to your console, you hit F3 to get to your recording console, where you can change your levels, your volumes for each track. There's your drums, Groove Agent drums, your guitars, which we hadn't got to yet. And you can change your inserts, your routing, EQ, compression. You can add compression. You can modify a lot of the parameters of your tracks. So that's an important hotkey to know. It's F3 to toggle between your track and your recording console. F3. Okay? So that's important. Okay. Another little important feature, let's say we pull up the vocals, which I was just spoken word over the drums here. Here, if you pull up your vocals, you can start editing, cutting, pasting, moving things around. This is a WAV file, and you can minimize that or bring it back up. And another important thing is the grid. You can snap to different grids. You can snap to the bar or to the measure, or you can snap it or not snap it at all, just to your cursor. So let's just say you want to cut and paste just a section or erase a section. And most people know how to use the scissors. You can just, cut a pair of scissors there and a pair of scissors here, or just do that, hit delete. I'm not going to go into that too detailed, but it's a very useful tool. Anyway, so recording your other instruments such as bass or guitar, organ. I think that's a VST. I'm not sure if this is a VST. You got to come over here. These would be VSTs. Again, if you want to record a live guitar, plug it into your Focusrite or your USB audio interface, you'd want to add an audio track. and they would give you the option mono in, uh, stereo out. That's good. You just name it guitar. Whoops, guitar. I think my keyboard batteries just went dead. That's okay. Well, let's click add track audio. You can come back and name it, and then you can again hit F3. Oh, my keyboard's battery's dead. Wireless keyboards are great, but that's pretty much it. That gives you the basics to just get going with this whole thing. There's a lot of good tutorials on YouTube. A lot of people spend a lot of time showing how to do punch in and punch outs, and Cubase is pretty cool. Sounds great. Pretty cool um, recording suite, and I think they did a pretty good job for the price, and I'm super happy with it. I've only been using it for, say, 3 months or something like that, and I've gotten pretty far pretty quick. I hope this helps somebody. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.